Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya, coming back at you one more time from the great millstone held in the Montana camp. And we're just going to jump right into it. We ain't going to waste no more time. And we always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group, and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group, and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Okay? So we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to title this lesson, The Greeks/Grecians in the New Testament are Israelites. Okay? Whenever you see Gentile or the word Greek in the New Testament, what happens is when you got these wacky tacky Christians, right? And when they'll go to like verses like Galatians 3:28, there's neither Jew nor Greek, and then they try to apply it to themselves, not knowing that that's talking and concerning about that's concerning Israelites, and that's talking about Israelites. Okay? And we're gonna prove in the lessons, and we got many, many lessons. We here at Great Millstone, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and the elders apostle Great Millstone the Lord set up. We have many videos to prove that those Gentiles in the New Testament, those Greeks that's in the New Testament, that's us. See, a lot of these wacky tacky Christians, and even the 2/3 of our people, because we know they ain't gonna get it. The wicked 2/3 of our people, they don't go into words. They don't study the etymology of words. They don't go into the Greek, and they don't go into the Hebrew. And then when they attempt to try to, they'll just read the definition to the word in the Greek, and they'll just read just read it just like it is. They won't go into the nitty gritty of the word, the root word, and go to this verse and be like, wait a second, this verse it says Greek in this particular verse, and in another verse it says this word Greek, and they don't know how to decipher. You know what I'm saying? Just like the word world. You see the word world in one verse in the Bible, and then you see the word world in another verse in the Bible, and they'll just take it just like it is, not knowing that those two words for world are different. There are many words in the New Testament that just because it says that particular word, that doesn't necessarily mean it always means that particular word. It can say the word, but it can have two different definitions. Just like the word world, right? It's many words in the New Testament, but we just gonna stay on point, and we just gonna prove this. We ain't gonna make this lesson too long, right? We just gonna prove it, and then and shut it down, because we're not doing these. We say this over and over again in our lessons. We're not doing these lessons for everybody. We're only doing these lessons for the elect of Israel and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Okay? To hell with Esau, to hell with these heathen ass nations. This book is our book, our history book. It don't have nothing to do with you goddamn heathens. Okay? You guys are in there, but it basically tells you what the Lord is going to do to you guys. You heathen ass nations. That's basically what it is. The prophecies say that you heathen ass nations is going to slavery. It ain't nothing good when it comes to you heathens concerning the Bible. It ain't nothing good. There's no hope for you. There's no salvation for you. Salvation is for the Israelites, and it says it all through the scriptures. But then you try to twist the scripture, and then you wicked ass people try to tell us that we're taking things out of context. But how are we doing that? If the Lord put the Spirit on His people in these last days, on His prophets, right? But that'll go over y'all head. That'll go over y'all wicked ass people's heads anyway, because y'all don't think that we the prophets anyway, and y'all think that we're false prophets and we're teaching false doctrine. So to hell with all y'all wicked ass people. Okay? I don't want to keep ranting. I'm going to just go into this lesson real quick because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, the Spirit jump on me to do this lesson. Let's read Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 first. Now, Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, right? In the New Living Translation, the title reads, for Acts chapter 9 is Saul's conversion. Okay? This is Saul, right? His name was turned to Paul, right? So this chapter is breaking it down on Saul's conversion, right? When Yahushua basically, I'm gonna just read this real quick. When Yahushua knocked Paul off the horse, you know, verse 4 says right here, Acts chapter 9 says, and he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Right? That's verse 4. And then that's Yahushua speaking. So the whole context of this is just Saul's conversion, it was a conversion for Paul. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down just to prove the point, right? Because we're going to prove that the Greeks / Grecians are Israelites, right? Paul was not going to just any heathen, you know what I'm saying, that believe. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. Paul was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. He was going to his own people, of his own race. And we're going to prove it. This is Acts chapter 9 in the New Testament, Acts chapter 9 and verse 29. And it reads, matter of fact, I'm going to read verse 27 first. I'm going to read to verse 29. It says this. It says, but Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles and declared unto them how he had seen the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, in the way, right? That's the beginning of the chapter. When Yahushua knocked Paul off the horse, and that was just that conversion that Yahushua did with Paul. Okay? It says, declared unto them how he has seen the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, in the way, and that he has spoken to him, and how he had preached boldly at Damascus in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Verse 28, and he was with them, coming in and going out at Jerusalem. Verse 29, and he spake boldly in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai power, and disputed against the Grecians. So see, these wacky-tacky Christians will take this verse, and then they'll say, see, look, he was talking to heathens. He was talking to the Greeks, heathens. No. It says, and disputed against the Grecians, but they went about to slay him. So check this out. See how these Christians, these wacky-tacky Christians, they'll just read it. They'll just, like for example, Galatians 3:28, they say, look, there's neither Jew nor Greek. A lot of them just do that and just read it just like how it is. But check this out. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, on the bottom of my page, right? One read this again, saying he spoke boldly in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, okay? And disputed against the Grecians. Now, right here in verse 29, see how it says, put it up to the camera for the new listeners, it says Grecians. So you see how it has the A right there, so to show you at the bottom of the page in the clip notes to tell you where to go, and it even has a 2 to even break it down even more. So for Grecians, on the bottom of my page, right, to Galatians chapter 9 and verse 28, I'm going to show you right here, all the way right there. What does that say? Hellenists, Greek-speaking Jews. This is Galatians chapter 9 and verse 29. That's what it says on the bottom of my page. Go to the bottom of my page. It says Hellenists, Greek-speaking Jews. Showing you that Paul was going to his own people. They were Jews that were speaking Greek. Hellenists. And then to even prove it even more, Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, which is what we just read, it told us to go to Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 and Acts chapter 11 verse 20. You can't get around that. It's right there. How are we lying about this? But then, of course, you're going to have a stupid ass scoffer, a fucking Edomite that comes on a comment board, they'll talk their shit. They'll say, look, this 12 tribes chart is fake. Why are you cursing? You're not a man of the Lord. They'll say all this madness when we're clearly proving it to you. What did it say? Acts chapter 9 and verse 29? It said for Grecians, right? They told us that I put it up to the camera too. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, it told us to go to Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 and Acts chapter 11 verse 20. So real quick, what I want to do for Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 in the NIV translation, this is what it says. He talked and debated with the Hellenistic Jews. See, in the King James Version, it says Grecians. So then a two-third or a wacky-tacky Christian, they can finagle their way through it and say, see, it says Grecian. Especially Esau. He'll just be like, see, Grecians. He was going to the Greeks. No. He was going to who? Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, NIV. He talked and debated with the Hellenistic Jews. Remember on the bottom of my page in the cliff notes, what does it say? Greek-speaking Jews. Hellenists. We proved it one more time in the NIV. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29. He talked and debated with the Hellenistic Jews, but they tried to kill him, right? Now in the footnotes to Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 in the NIV, in the footnotes, this is what it says. That is Jews who had adopted the Greek language and culture. So then you got to go to these Christian churches and say, wait a second. When they say, oh, there's not a Jew or Greek, say, well, what is that talking about? Is that talking about a Jew that took on what does it say right here in the footnotes again to Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 in the NIV? It says, that is Jews who had adopted the Greek language and culture. But then you would have to tell them, look, so why would what's going on right here? Can we go into, you ask a wacky tacky Christian, can we go into the history on why these Greek speaking Jews were speaking Greek and took on the Greek customs and language and culture of the Greeks, the heathen Greeks, right? And then that's when they confound it, because they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, okay, so Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, in a Douay Rheims 1899 American edition, Acts chapter 9 verse 29, in a Douay Rheims 1899 American edition, it says this. He spoke also to the Gentiles. Ooh. Now wait a second. We already proved that in Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, when it says Grecians, we put it up to the camera so we can show you that we're not lying. On the bottom of my page in the clip notes, it says Hellenists, Greek-speaking Jews. In the NIV translation in Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, it says Hellenistic Jews. But wait a second. In the Douay Rheims 1899 American edition, it says Gentiles. So that's a straight cut to you wacky-tacky ass Christians. That's proven that we were called Gentiles. Carried away into, that's what it's, what does it say and that says in the New Testament, you were carried away to these, you once were called Gentiles, carried away to these dumb idols. We were called Gentiles, and we just proved it because, again, in the footnotes to Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, what does it say? In the footnotes, it says, that is Jews who had adopted the Greek language and culture, right? We took on their practices. We dressed like them. We acted like them. We worshiped their gods, their idols. This is Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, Douay Rheims, 1899, American edition. It says, he spoke also to the Gentiles and disputed with the Greeks. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, again, tells me to go to Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 and Acts chapter 11 verse 20. So now we're going to go to Acts chapter 6, a couple of chapters back. Acts chapter 6 and verse 1, because that's what Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 told us to go to on the bottom of my page in the clip notes. Acts chapter 6 and verse 1, and it reads, and all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, hallelujah. It says this, And in those days, okay, it says, and in those days, when the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose murmuring against, let me read it again, Acts 6 and 1. And in those days, when the number of the disciples were multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews, because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. So again, a wacky-tacky Christian that don't know the scriptures, they'll read this verse and they'll think, oh, the heathen Greeks were the heathen Greeks. What does it say? There arose a murmuring of the Grecians. So they say the heathen Greeks against the Hebrews. So they basically say, see, the Greeks, they were murmuring against the Hebrews. No, those were our people. This was amongst our people. How do we know? Well, again, we proved it in Acts chapter 9 and verse 29, because Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 tells you to go to Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. When it says Grecians in Acts chapter 6 and verse 1, that's proven that those Grecians are Israelites. And we're going to continue to keep proving it. This is Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 in the Douay-Rheims 1899 American edition. And it says, and in those days, the number of the disciples increasing, there arose a murmuring of the Greeks against the Hebrews. And we already proved that that Grecians, because if you go into Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 and other different translations, one of those translations in Acts chapter 6 and verse 1, it will say, and in those days when the number of the disciples were multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Greek-speaking Jews against the Hebrews, because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Another translation, it will say it was a murmuring of the Hellenist Jews against the Hebrews, right? You can't get around it, right? So real quick, Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. Okay, we read that. Now we're going to go to Acts chapter 11 and verse 20. And all of this is in the New Testament. And we're not making none of this up either. This is Acts chapter 11 and verse 20. And it reads, it says, and some of them, and matter of fact, let me get this real quick. That was what did we read? Acts chapter 9 and verse 29. Salakia. Acts chapter 11 and verse 20. Acts chapter 11 and verse 20. I got to put this up to the camera because we know what this means. Acts chapter 11 verse 20. See, it tells us to go to Acts chapter 6 and 1. Right? Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. But look at what it says for Acts chapter 11 verse 20. It says Hellenists. What is a Hellenist? Well, we're going to prove it again because this is for the new listeners. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29. In the NIV, for the footnotes, it says that is Jews who had adopted the Greek language and culture. Acts chapter 9 and verse 29 in the NIV, he said he talked and debated with the Hellenistic Jews. So right here in Acts chapter 11 verse 20, I'm going to put it up to the camera one more again. Notice how it says go to Acts chapter 6 and verse 1 and look what it says. Hellenist. What is a Hellenist? Greek speaking Jew. This is Acts 6 and 1. Douay-Rheims 1899 American edition. And it says, in those days, the number of the disciples increasing, there arose a murmuring of the Greeks. Acts 6 and 1 in the King James Version says the Grecians. What is a Grecian? Greek-speaking Jew. Right here in Acts chapter 11 and verse 20, in an understandable version translation, by verse 20, is Acts chapter 11, verse 20. In the understandable version translation, it says Greeks, i.e. Gentiles. So even Israelites were called Gentiles. I'm going to read it again. Acts chapter 11 and verse 20 in the understandable version translation, it says Greeks, i.e. Gentiles. King James version, it says Grecians. Understandable version translation, it says Greeks, parentheses, i.e. Gentiles. What is a Grecian? A Greek-speaking Jew, a Hellenist. Can't get around it, man. This is Acts chapter 11, verse 20. And all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Hallelujah. Acts chapter 11, verse 20. In the easy version translation, it reads, some of the believers were people who came from Cyprus and Cyrene. See, these are Israelites. These men went to Antioch. There they told God's message to Gentiles as well as Jews. Who was those Gentiles? They were Israelites too. They said that the Jews, but guess what? Who were the Gentiles? Acts 11 and 20 says it right there. I'm gonna put it to the camera. It says Grecians. Those were Israelites that took on the customs of the heathen. That's why when you read Galatians 3:28, that's why it says there's neither Jew nor Greek. It was basically saying, look, there's no difference between you guys. All you guys are Israelites. There's no difference between the Jew that know they are Jew and the Greek, right? The Greek-speaking Jews, because you guys are all Israelites. It's not hard. You wacky-tacky Christians make it hard. This is Acts chapter 11, verse 20, easy version translation. It says, some of the believers were people who came from Cyprus and Cyrene. These men went to Antioch. There they told God's message to Gentiles as well as Jews. Okay? Let's go to read Acts 16 and 1. Let's read Acts 16 and 1. This is Acts chapter 16 and verse 1. And it reads, then came he, in the New Testament, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus. We know Timothy was an Israelite. We can prove that we already proved that, but we just stand on topic. It says, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, and believed, but his father was a Greek. See, they'll take this verse again. These wacky-tacky Christians, they'll take that verse and see, look, see, he was a heathen. No, because Acts chapter 16 and verse 1, in the Worsley New Testament, right? Acts 16 and 1, in the Worsley New Testament, it says this: the son of a believing Jewish, but of a Grecian father. And we know what a Grecian is. We proved it over and over and over again, but we're going to continue to keep proving it. A Grecian, a Hellenist, Greek-speaking Jew. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay? Plain and simple. This guy, Timotheus' father, was a Greek. He was a Grecian. He was one of those guys that carried on the customs of the heathen Greeks. He just like how Jake is today. Elder Tahar did a video a couple of years back, and and he was talking about Acts chapter 16 verse 1. He was one of those Timothy's father was one of those, like, look, you need to get away from that just like how today when we talk to our family members and stress our fathers, like, look, you need to get away from that Israelite shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm an American. I'm an African American. I pay my bills. I work. I make a work for a living, and you should be doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? He was very like, he's into the Greek culture. He's like, look, I'm making a living for myself. You need to do the same thing. Just like how these Israelite jakes today, these older Israelite jakes, is like they tell the younger jakes, look, you need to stay away from that shit. And you need to just get you a job and 9 to 5. You need to make a living for yourself and pay the bills and do all this stuff and get away from that Hebrew Israelite shit. You know, this right here is in Acts chapter 11. No, real quick, let me see. Okay, we already read that. So this is Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. Okay. I'm going to read it one more time. It says, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, and believed. See, his mother believed, but his father, no, he didn't. His father didn't believe. He was a Greek. He was like, look, I'm a Greek. You know, just like how Jake do it today. They don't want to hear that Israelite madness. That's what they say. I don't want to hear that Israelite stuff, that cult stuff. Even though we ain't part of, we only bring out the truth. But that Jake don't want to hear is, look, as I'm an American, I'm an African American. It's the same thing. How our ancestors did back then is like, look, I'm a Greek. Same thing they doing today. I'm an African American. I'm a Native American. I'm a Mexican American. It's the same thing. Taking on the customs of the heathen. Worsley, Acts chapter 16 and verse 1, Worsley translation, New Testament. It says, the son of a believing Jewess, but of a Grecian father. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to go to Mark chapter 7 and verse 6. Mark chapter 7 and verse 6. Real quick. Okay. This is Mark chapter 7. Call Halayim Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Hallelujah. This is Mark chapter 7 and verse 6. It reads, Mark chapter 7 and verse 26. This is another verse, but they love to go to. These stupid, wacky, tacky Christians. Mark chapter 7 and verse 26, it says, the woman was a Greek. See, there was a heathen Greek woman. It says the woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her. Now, check this out. Real quick. See how we read by verse 26. So, but this is what I want to do with this, because like I said, we have many videos to prove that this Greek Syrophoenician one was an Israelite. But what I want to do is this, because the Lord Yahweh Shemel had the Spirit jump on me to do this. Mark chapter 7 and verse 26. Now check this out. I'm gonna put this up to the camera because I want the new listeners to see this. So it says the woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. See that word daughter? See, that's another thing. You see the elders apostle Great Millstone through the Spirit of Power Yahweh Shemel Shai. They teach us how to go into these words in a very strategic way, a learning way. We study these words. So remember, when it says daughter, right, the Syrophoenician woman, she had a daughter. So right here, what I did was I looked at that word daughter, and I did a lesson on this too, another lesson on this, but I want to bring this one up too in this lesson. In Mark chapter 7 and verse 26, I put it up to the camera, for daughter, Strong's Concordance G2364, for daughter. In Mark chapter 7 verse 26, in the lexicon it says women of Jerusalem. And then it gives you the precept, Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. This is Mark chapter 7 and verse 6. When it says the woman was a Greek Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. You look up that word daughter in Mark chapter 7 verse 26, Strong's Concordance G 2364 for daughter. In a lexicon, it reads women of Jerusalem. You cannot get around it. And we're going to prove it because we're going to go to Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. We already proved it. But in a lexicon to Mark chapter 7 verse 26 for daughter, Strong's Concordance G 2364, it told us to go to Luke chapter 23 and verse 28 for daughter. So let's go to Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. Let's see what it says. Let's see what it says because it told us to go there. Luke chapter 23 and verse 68. And I'm going to put this up to the camera too. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. And it reads, Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. Because again, Mark chapter 7 verse 26. In a lexicon for daughter, Strong's Concordance G 2364, it says women of Jerusalem, and it gives us the precept Luke 23 and 28, which is what we're about to read. I'm going to put this up to the camera. This is in the New Testament. This is Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. Okay? Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the red. It says, but Yahweh Shai turning unto them said, daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and your children. You see that? Daughters of Jerusalem. Because again, Mark chapter 7 verse 26, for daughter, Strong's Concordance G 2364 in the lexicon, it says women of Jerusalem, and it told us to go to Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. We just read it right there. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28, it says, but Yahweh Shai turning to them said, daughters of Jerusalem. You look up that word daughters, and Luke chapter 23 and verse 28, it'll have the same concordance that it has in Mark chapter 7 verse 26. Strong's Concordance G 2364 for daughter. Lexicon. Women of Jerusalem. And it also says women of Aaron's posterity. Aaron was from the tribe of Levi. Levi was one of the 12 patriarchs of Jacob. Israel. Let me read it again. Mark chapter 7 verse 6. Mark chapter 7 verse 26. Strong's Concordance G 2364 for daughter. In the lexicon, women of Jerusalem. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28, it says, but Yahweh Shai turning to them said, daughters of Jerusalem, proving that Mark chapter 7 verse 26, the Greek Syrophoenician one was an Israelite, and her daughter was an Israelite. We proved it. It says, Luke chapter 23 and verse 28, it says, women of Aaron's prosperity. I'm going to read it again. Lexicon, women of Jerusalem. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28, women of Aaron's posterity. Luke chapter 1 and verse 5. Let's go to Luke chapter 1 and verse 5 now. Luke chapter 1 and verse 5. Because again, we have many lessons to prove that a lot of the Akim have a lot of us Akim here at Great Millstone, we have proved that that Greek Syrophoenician woman was an Israelite. But like I said, what I wanted to do was look into that word daughter. So there you go, man. There you go. So what did they say? Go to Luke 1 and 5. Let's go to Luke 1 and 5. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakakwadash Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This is Luke chapter 1 and 5, because that's what they told us to go to. Okay? Put this up to the camera too. Because remember, Mark chapter 7 verse 26 for daughter, Strong's Concordance G 2364, lexicon, women of Jerusalem. Luke chapter 23 and verse 28. Same concordance, G2364 for daughter. We're going to read Luke chapter 1 and verse 5. There was in the days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abiah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. That's why I told us to go Mark chapter 7 verse 26 in the lexicon. It says women of Jerusalem, and it says women of Aaron's posterity. And it tells us to go to the precept Luke chapter 1 and verse 5. We'll read it one more time. There was in the days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abiah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth, right? And we know that Aaron, and we know Aaron was an Israelite, right? All this whole verse right here is talking about Zacharias. Zacharias was an Israelite. Aaron was an Israelite. Elizabeth was an Israelite, right? All you gotta do is go into the words, and they'll tell you, like, look, the name of an Israelite or a Israelite woman. So I'm going to wrap it up, Akim. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Let's keep pushing, Akim. Let's stay strong. Let's keep the faith and keep Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai first, always. We almost home, Akim. Let's keep enduring all the way into the end. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.